The purpose. What are we sharing? We are actually sharing information that leads to a decision. And I'm going to take turns leading. I'm going to do the front part and the back part with my new distributors. I'm working with Edith Escarpita, and she is just going crazy with this. She's now doing the front part. She will be doing the back part after this conference. And I'm also working with Mika Patch, and I'm working with Marlene Bermudez, 3 new distributors that are here today. And you know, you cannot put a price tag on having someone who's willing to go to work with you. And what does Dave Zero always say? I love it. Help people make an educated decision, not an opinionated decision. And you teach by doing with your downline. And what is the goal? I love what are on the signs. It's a leadership conference. Our goal is to become leaders. We need to begin to think of ourselves as the upline, not the downline. So we want to start with questions. And these are great questions here, but I want to tell you a story. When I set an appointment with a neighbor of mine years ago, we didn't even have these presentations. My friend who sponsored me just drew out the marketing plan and would sample the product. Usually it took an hour. And I took her to an appointment, and she just started talking and forming, asking questions, finding out where they're at. And I'm really looking at my watch like, oh my gosh, I only have the babysitter for an hour. She's not even started the appointment yet. And at the end of the appointment, Annie told me, Di, am I gonna show something to a woman where she can make $60,000 a year if she only wants to make $12,000 a year? We've got to find out where they're at and have a conversation. So write FORM. This is what I use every time. F is family. And a lot of us are working with, we're generating cold leads from wherever, you know, even opportune moments. And this is what I ask. Tell me something about your family. Are you married? Do you have children? And it's a conversation. It's not a check-off list. Are you married? Yes. Okay. Do you have children? Yes. Okay. Make it a conversation. That's what I've been taught. And if you know them, well, then you ask about Susie who lost her job, or Uncle Joe who's very sick in the hospital. Are they looking for an alternative? What about, you know, your neighbor who the wife lost her job, wants some extra income, a career change? So you want to ask that with the F. The O is occupation. Susie, tell me something that you love about your job. Susie, tell me something that you don't love about your job. If you could change one thing with your job, what would it be? Now we're getting an idea of who we're going to work with, and we're going to gear the appointment to them. And the R is recreation. Folks, people don't have recreation anymore. It's kind of laughable. You know, either they're too sick, they're too broke, or they're too busy. Is that not right? And I remember telling my dad, you know, we use the phrase, dust off your dreams. I'm like, Dad, you are going to bowl again. You are going to do everything that the doctor says you can't. He was in a head-to-toe massager with a horrible, just arthritis, really bad. His diabetes was bad. And he told my ma, Jean, I'm ready for the grave. The golden years aren't what I thought they'd be. And along comes Reliv. In 6 months, my dad was bowling, golfing, and fishing again. He went into the VA, he slammed his hand on the bar, and he said, Joe Cross is back, put me on the bowling team. And that year, he bowled 300 games. Reliv works, guys. And so, you know, ask people, what do they love to do for fun? And tell them they're going to be able to go do that. The M is money. How much would make a difference in your life? And, you know, people aren't really willing to share that. You're kind of going into their space. So I always share what I needed. In the beginning, I said, I need $2,000 a month, and I'm going to earn that so I can bring my husband home, and we can be a family. Now I say, I've earned that and way more, and you can too. Let me show you how. So you want that FORM. It makes such a difference. Now you can do the appointment, you know, with regards to what they are looking for, and they're not going to be like a deer in headlights. And what I want to tell you is listen, really listen. When they're writing, when they're telling you stuff, really make a mental note. And when the appointment's finished, you want to write all that down. because they're going to mention people that they've even thought of during the appointment. You want to write them down. You will use their answers as a guide. So appointments can either be in person, face-to-face, one-on-one, and that's the best, okay? I'll tell you right now, I have had huge success. Probably the best is with face-to-face. And we are very blessed in Chicago because the North Side has a Tuesday night presentation where we have opportunity slides. People take turns doing the front part and the back part, and that's where Edith has done the front part probably 3 times now. She is up again in August to do it again, and it's very exciting to see the growth. And we also have a training on Saturday where we learn to put into practice what we learn during the week, and people who are training share their ups and downs and kind of shorten our learning curve, those of us sitting, watching the training. There's also an online electronic presentation, and we do never ever want to forget about the people who are long distance. I would say 90% of my organization is long distance, with a lot of my downline master affiliates and their master affiliates. And you want to take advantage of the computer because they're in a place that doesn't have a system. They're in a place that they don't have a meeting in their house, and they can start one, but it has to start somewhere. And write this down because every Monday night you can be a part of, there's 20 ambassadors. We're in a rotation, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, on the computer, and if you go to, and I'll say it once, join.me/Better Life. Every single Monday at 7:30. Mindy Jones just did it last Monday. I'll be doing it this Monday in 2 days. You know what's cool about that? Sandy Sopko, a presidential bronze ambassador, she will turn on her computer and then hook it up to her TV, and now it's in her living room. She has an opportunity meeting in her living room where there's an ambassador doing the appointment. They've collected the health and business stories. It's 35 minutes. She does shakes, samples them, and then she goes over asks for a decision and where do they see themselves getting started. So you do not want to, one-on-one person is great, but the electronic is awesome, guys. And you know what? It's still the same information. And these are useful tools, the presentation book. I'm going to give you a challenge. I heard Kimberly give you a challenge. I'm going to give you a challenge. How many are serious about going home and putting to work what you're hearing today and tomorrow and yesterday? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Nice and high. All right. Guys, this is your challenge. In order to go home and do it, you got to share the whole story. You don't just sell product. You don't just talk about a business. You talk about everything. You use this book. You can go get them in the general store. There's 10 for $10. And when I first got started in Reliv and they came out with these PAs, I didn't have them for the first 5 years. I had to know how to write out the marketing plan, and we just shared stories. We had to get very creative. And when they got these, my goal was to get a whole pack. I think there were 18 in the package. And I would buy a package the first of every month, and I would do an appointment, either with my personal group or helping my downline. So I challenge you, there should be a mad rush. Everyone get a package of these. Double it. Do 20 appointments, $20. You think about the salespeople, insurance guys. I have a friend, he does no less than 6 appointments a day. I'm talking Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday. He doesn't have a life. He does appointments. All we're saying is 10 a month? You guys can do it. I know you can. The slides, these are right on the computer. You download them and you can put them on a computer over coffee, go to someone's house. There's so many ways you can get creative in working this. The whiteboard's my plan B. We were at a presentation. When I had presidential director, we did 22 in-homes. Oh my goodness. And they were packed with people. So many times you could not do the one-on-ones and connecting. So they would go to the house, and one time, that's the best way we could meet with them is get at the house together and we'll all talk together and you'll hear a lot of stories. And so the internet was down, no Wi-Fi. Well, get the whiteboard out of my car and I drew out the marketing plan. That was my plan B. I love whiteboards because you can, no matter what, you can always write it out. Personal websites, the best person I know that uses a personal website and has success is Stephanie Collins. She's an ambassador, and almost every single month she earns in the top 10. How does she do it? She takes her cell phone, and if she's out and about talking to people, you know, you heard how to connect with people, how to identify. She just says, you know what? You really need to hear about what I do. You really need to know more about what I do. I know you know I do Reliv, but I've never really told you, you know, and you really never sat down with me. You got to check out my website. What's your number? She texts them her website. She didn't really ask for a number. She's giving them information. So those personal websites, now they're on looking at the website, then she executes a time to meet, you know, say in 2 days, because you want to have a sense of urgency. You don't want to just give out information and, okay, call me when you can. You know, I'm all about sense of urgency. You know what? In 2 days, do you think you'll have a chance to look at that? Great. That'll be Thursday. Are you better morning, afternoon, or evening? And now they can visualize their Thursday and they'll tell you. So the websites are wonderful. You can order right online. There's nothing like it. These tools, this you can pull down. It's a cheat sheet, and it also has a blank one. I'll tell you a funny story. This, someone said you need to know it, you need to own it, and you need to show it every day. Sean Bergeron told me that. Diane, you need to do this every single day, whether it's with your personal group or your downline. And we knew the marketing plan, and we were able to go out and teach it, and guess what we taught? The same thing. We recorded ourselves doing the marketing plan. It's a great tool. And you pull down the, you download the blank, and you can also fill it in and see. Look at your cheat sheet. Uh-oh, I need to know this one. You know, and so now you can check with yourself if you know the complete marketing plan, because you have a blank one and you have a cheat sheet. That one, that's amazing. Okay. So those tools really share the details. Power of the Reliv system, the stories. Okay. Hang on a minute. Okay, the story. I had some stuff I wanted to share. Okay, the power of the Reliv system. Stories really is the name of the game. How many are here because they've heard a lot of stories? I know every hand is going up out there because that's why I am here, because of the stories. They get into your heart. Upline is going to help you with more stories. Maybe your sideline. I use sideline a lot. And you know what's really interesting? When you can call a friend and you connect them with someone, it's really powerful because you have a window of opportunity, 100%. And now you can borrow their strength. You hit mute, grab your notebook, and write down how your upline handled objections. If you go and do it alone, now you get your upline on, that window's closing, guys. It's closing. And you don't have that opportunity anymore. I want to share about the Monday night call. I can't say enough about it. I hope you all are using it. That is one reason how I got to PD, because there's stories, health and business, over and over again, 24/7, and it's new every single week. It's events like these that are going to build your wall of belief, and you can go out and grow. Practice your own story. It's on page 20. You want to look at that, guys, because at time I can't. This is another thing you want to know and own, but this time you share daily. I'm going to challenge you again, another challenge. Know your story in 50 to 60 seconds, and not yours and your children and your husband, just yours. Because when you add other people in it and you're trying to get it to 50, 60 seconds, it loses really the importance. You want to share your story. And then if you want to share your child one time, then you just share your child. And you want to get it down to 50, 60 seconds and start sharing it, practicing it this weekend. And you work together. I'm working with the 3 new people. I tell them, this is what we do. Is there anything that I just did that you can't do? They say no. So when you verbalize it like that, that's key. And I show them. And then I say, now let's have you try. And I love teaching new people how to do three-way calling. You know, they mess up at first. That's all right, I did too. And then I say, now you're gonna do the whole thing. Sticking with it every day, knowing, owning, showing that marketing plan. This, take my challenge, do it, guys. Knowing, showing, and sharing my story over and over. Guys, you can do it. Go for the PD. God love you. Have a great, great